Hey guys, welcome to another With Friends episode. Today we have got special guest Chelsea Husum, who is a mama of two boys, an author, a keynote speaker, a podcaster, founder of American GPR and Coring Two Girls. Is there anything you don't do?
Yes, lots.
Lots. I love it. What I love most about Chelsea is she is so passionate. And you can tell in her socials, you can tell in her conversations. I had lunch with her at one point, and she's got this passion for just making sure that others know what's possible. And we actually were just talking about it right before we hit record, but that she wants others to know that they can build a life that they truly love. And so, Chelsea, just thank you for always showing up so authentically, sharing your story via book, podcast. I mean, all of these spaces, including this space today. And so just thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you. I'm so glad to see you. This is going to be so fun.
It is going to be so fun. So, okay, I know I just kind of gave a high level bio, but is there anything else that you like? What about your story? How do you want to introduce yourself today?
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, I am a multi-passionate person that I'm a Gemini that, I got a lot of things in my brain and then I try to start like 20 things at the same time. And that sometimes doesn't go well. I just honestly, like right now in life, I just follow what lights my soul up. And if you would have asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if I would be an entrepreneur, business owner, I'd be like, no. If I would own a construction company, I'd be like, absolutely not. If I would have written a book, been a speaker, any of it, or had a podcast, like any of this, I would said absolutely not. I wouldn't ever foresee myself doing that. But I am such a believer in like I said, following what lights your soul up and going. And now this stuff, I love it. And it just is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And you gave me all the goosebumps. So I got to stop us right there. Look, see, we didn't even get 2 minutes in. Okay. When you say like that, your life looked it looked different. It sounds like so drastically different 5 years ago. If you couldn't have even kind of painted this type of picture. Yeah. So what the heck happens in that 5 years is nothing. That's a very small slice of the pie of life.
Yeah.
What happens over 5 years for all of those things to take place?
Yeah, well, I was a high school Spanish teacher for 10 years and I quit in 2019, thank God, before COVID, because that would have been psychotic. And I got into construction at that point, took a job as an office manager for a different construction company. I did not get trained well at all. And I cried a lot and it was really a struggle to get in there. But then of all times, March of 2020, I started my construction company. I worked those two jobs till April of 22 when I was like, this physically is impossible anymore. I am like at my wit's end, so stressed out, and then stepped into it. And really, I would say, starting my construction company, being in business now for over 5 years, that was huge. But then I can really attribute my biggest like self-awakening and awareness to deciding to write my book. And I will say, I literally never wanted to write a book. I'm just going to be very clear about that. I would have been like, absolutely not. And I felt this weird pull at this brunch, this entrepreneur women's brunch that they had a keynote speaker. She was a publisher and I almost didn't go because I'm like, why would I go to that? But it was brunch. So I was like, yeah, it's brunch.
Of course.
I literally went because it was brunch. And then I think I walked up to her after and was like, I think I could maybe write a book. And I'm like, what? Who are you? So really, my book came out on Valentine's Day, gosh, I think last year in 24. And honestly, like I wrote about a really, really significant trauma that happened to me over 20 years ago that I literally never told a soul about for 20 years. My husband didn't know, my parents didn't know. And it was truly the week my book was coming out next week. And I was like, oh my God, I have to tell all these people. And I was freaking out. Thank God they took it well. But I mean, I put stories in there of like really intense things that I've gone through, like motherhood, business, life, stories from back when I was a child. And honestly, I can say since that has been out in the world, I truly feel like it cracked me open. I have finally shown the world the good, the bad, the ugly, and I don't care anymore. Like I am me and I'm more me and more fulfilled and like truly authentic than I've ever been, ever.
Wild. It is wild. I was in a similar boat where it was like, I mean, I had people who were like, you should write a book one day. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Never did I actually think that like I would become a best-selling author.
Right.
And it's wild. Every author I talk to, we all have this shared experience where you're like, it healed me.
Oh yeah.
It healed me
Truly.
in ways I didn't even know I needed to be healed. And
Truly.
then like the freeing that
It
happens on
really
the other
is.
side of that.
I didn't know how much it would be. And like
Yeah.
you like I have friends that they wrote books and got a lot of flack and like judgment
Mhm.
from their family. And thank God, I feel really bad for them because they put it all out there, right? And thank God I didn't get that. I got nothing but support. Even in the construction community, like I'll walk into huge meetings and I'll walk up to a group of guys and that because it's just awkward. You're networking. You just like shove yourself
Yeah.
in random conversations. And one guy will be like, oh my God, this is Chelsea. You need to meet her. She has a book. She has a podcast. And they're like telling the other guys, I'm like, who are you people?
Okay.
Like, it's just funny to me.
It is. Well, and it's like those things too. And I love that you brought up the judgment piece. It's the things like I think often, right? We keep a lot of the pain to ourselves, and or we don't even know it exists. I
Yeah.
like it had no idea the stuff that I was carrying. It sounds like you
Mhm,
maybe didn't
mhm,
even either.
mhm.
And then how it comes up, and there does appear to be almost like these two groups. I'm starting to see this now as my year and a half, second year of entrepreneurship. These
Mhm.
two groups kind of start forming. And you've got the one group over here that seems to be really supportive. And they're the ones who are like, you've got to meet Chelsea, you've got to meet Britt, you've got to, and they get it and they operate on a different level. And
Totally.
then you've got this other group over here where you said the word, I'm gonna say judgment.
Mhm. Like
What
major judgment.
major judgment for all of the entrepreneurs out there, like who are sitting here and they're like, hey, I want this year to be my year. And let's talk about that. Let's
Yeah.
unpack that judgment piece for the
Sure.
next few minutes to see if maybe we can, just through our own experiences, some of the stuff that we're unjuggling
Sure.
with that. Do you have any specific stories that come to mind, like something that just hit a heck of a lot harder than
Yeah.
it hurt?
I have a few actually, and I will say I have the judgment, the really hurtful judgment has been a big theme for me this year from
Mm,
others. And I literally started therapy again because of it, because I'm like, I gotta go talk to somebody and say the stuff I really want and need to say and not like piss off this person and piss off that
yeah,
person. And like, you know what I mean? I will say if you are out dreaming big dreams and like doing things that light your soul up, y- you're going to be judged. Absolutely. Like we have to come to terms first with that. Like we will be judged. And then they always say like new levels, new devils. As you now, you now are going to this next level. There's going to be more people who say stupid, hurtful things to try to bring you back down because they're probably threatened. Because honestly, a lot of the people that I hear comments from have honestly had never really done much with their life. They really weren't ever, they're not the same like soul or driven
yeah,
people, like dreamers like we are, right? And it's like it's like really like you're telling me this like of all the of all the people. It's just
yeah.
yeah.
It,
And just hearing like, comments about I also a really huge time this year was overhearing extremely hurtful comments from a close family member about me and my son. And honestly, it is just like a gut punch that I am still in therapy on. I still am struggling through. It is like, other people are like, get over it, whatever, move on. I'm like, I can't
it
unhear that.
hurts.
I can't. And then when they were confronted about it, they started like arguing to justify what they did, which pissed me off even more because like
Yeah,
you should just say, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't
yeah,
have done that or said that or I don't feel that way." But it's just been like even worse.
yeah.
That's even more hurtful. So I think it is, yeah, what are your thoughts? Like how how do we move forward and keep
Mm.
like shedding that stuff off us as we go forward? Because if you're like me, I'm an empath and I will sit and freaking stew on this stuff forever. And I'm like in the shower, like like violently washing my hair, like telling them off. And then I'm like, they're not thinking about me. I'm going to be, they don't give a crap about me. Like they're not thinking about me like I am them.
Oh, you just said something. I literally saw it this morning. It was a quote from Jasmine Star, and it was like 5 things that hit harder that as I get older. And the number one thing was something like, they weren't watching anyway. You should have pursued your dreams. You should have so while you're sitting there, in the shower. I love that. Like you're in the shower, you're like, I can't believe
well, my best arguments happen in the shower to myself. It's true.
So while you're sitting there like stewing, literally having physical reaction, it's so upset. It is stealing your joy. It is stealing your time. It is stealing your energy. It is stealing your creativity. God. Like it robs us of so many things while they've moved on to what freaking Netflix show they're going to binge next. And that's most important to them. And you're like, dang, it seems so unfair.
Yes, it really does. It really does.
Seems so unfair. I think so. I want to go back. You said, Chelsea, I absolutely love you. I think you're just brilliant. So
you too, girl.
Okay. The new level, new devil. Yep. Like you will be judged. And I find comfort in that. I know it doesn't feel good, probably like walking through it. And at the same time, it's like, that's how you're excelling. That's how you're evolving. That's how you're actually making your dreams come true. So
it's true.
Right? It doesn't make it feel good, but it's a sign. It's a sign.
It is. Like when I got my only 2-star book review, I was like, oh, well, that hurts. And then I was like, oh, well, that's probably this girl from high school that's always hated me. And I guarantee she didn't ever read my book. But the funny part is whoever this was took time and energy out of their day to go to try to hurt me. And literally she's bringing, well, I say she, I guarantee it's she. Yeah. She's bringing down my freaking Amazon average with this 2-star review. But then it's like my publisher's like, girl, you've made it. You've made it. You got haters. So bring it on. Like freaking bring it on. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. Okay. So I think where do we experience judgment the most? And so I think 2 things so far are coming up. I love where this is going. I think the first one is your character, and that one hurts.
Yes.
That one hurts. So when we're unpacking this together, the judgment that's coming at your character.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. The things I keep hearing are, you're doing too much. Like, how do it appears I'm doing a lot. Yes, I am quote unquote doing a lot, but I also do less now than I probably ever have done because I have better boundaries, right? And I protect my time and energy better. So I hear I'm doing a lot. We're worried about you. Like, I'm living my best freaking life. Why are you worried about me? I'm over here. I'm good. And then I've heard a lot of judgment of my parenting as well, which is real. That one is the freaking knife to the heart, and it pisses me off real bad.
Why is that even the fact that even gets to be on the table for others to judge? Isn't that bonkers?
It is.
And it is. It's crazy. And so, and again, I feel like I'm just talking in circles because because we're unjuggling it. Yes. Where we know better. We know that nobody gets to say a darn thing about our parenting except the people who are in our own 4 walls.
Yes.
And yet that doesn't mean it doesn't sting.
Oh, it hurts bad. It hurts bad. That's the stuff that really just completely derailed me. And then also I've had someone say, oh, it's so good to see you bubbly again. And I was like, oh, I'm always bubbly. And they're like, no, you're not. You're frustrated a lot. I'm like, wow. Like who freaking says crap like this? I would never say that to anyone, or I would never like, I'm not judging your parenting. Parenting, being a mother is the hardest job in the entire world. I think you're working your butt off. And
Yeah.
like, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I am. And I'm not attempting to be perfect. Let's just be
Yeah.
clear on that either. That's not my goal. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, I'm not out judging people. I'm like, I'm a girl's
No.
girl. Like, I will clap for you and you got this and let's go together. I'm not out there talking crap about you and judging what you're
It's
doing. And you're trying to make an impact and put your soul out in the world, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep, you're trying to like the intention is pure. And I think that goes that's what's coming up for me too. It's like folks are casting judgment and it's always based on their standards, their expectations,
Mhm.
their experiences. So when it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're doing too much compared to what?"
Yeah, because
Or
like, all you
like
do is sit on the couch all day after day. I mean, is
you're
that
right,
what
that
would
would
make
be
you more comfortable if I do that? Okay. No, I
you're
don't
like,
like
"No,
TV. I don't even watch
it"
TV. Like, I'm
yeah,
not gonna do
you're
it.
like, that would be you're right.
That would be hellish.
Yeah, yeah, me doing anything other than being on the couch, you're right, that is going to be too much
Yeah.
for you
For
or
you.
or the, like, "We're worried about you." Uh, uh, uh,
Like,
I don't
what makes you say that?
I don't need you to
Like,
be
what?
worried about
I
me.
mean,
I'm
yeah.
a big girl. But it's okay. Well, and we can acknowledge. I think that if someone is probably coming at us with a "we're worried about you,"
Mhm.
we can acknowledge that there's probably some level of compassion and empathy there. Like
Yes.
their experience is real. And I know for me, I've had people say, "We're worried about you."
Mhm.
Um, and it does kind of like, glitch a little bit. You're just like, whoa, because then the real in my own brain starts going off with like, what am I portraying that you would that would be concerning?
Truly.
What am I, who am I showing up as or who am I not showing up as? But again, is that based off of how you used to experience me? And now
Yeah.
I interact with the world differently and that's
It makes you
uncomfortable or
uncomfortable.
that's
Yeah.
uh,
You don't know how
it's
to
just
take me.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
different. Like I don't even think necessarily that something like I don't think that all judgment is what's the word? Like that it comes with this malicious intent. I think sometimes it does, but I
Yeah.
don't think
And
that all judgment
sometimes
does.
it could be coming from a true place of
Yeah.
like concern, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think so I think intent like the right the circumstance kind of I think circumstance gets pulled in like against whose standards, whose expectations, whose experiences.
Mhm.
I think you know how the relationship maybe has previously been and how it's evolving
Mhm.
also goes into that. One thing that we have it's like well, I know judgment that I've received too that hurts is when it's coming after the things that we've worked so hard for. Like how you mentioned, you said,
Mhm.
we're out here trying to have a genuine good impact. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing things that light my soul on fire. So
Mhm.
when there is that judgment that gets cast about like who does she think she is? Or well,
Yeah.
that was she said that's not whatever she just said wasn't revolutionary, get off the stage or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, it just, it's part of the game, but
It is.
how so?
It's just hard.
Yeah,
I
it's
will
hard.
say too, I've kind of been surprised how, and I'm going to say kind of how I deal with this too, but I've been surprised that a lot of the judgment that I've experienced lately has come from very close people, very close
Mm,
family members, very close friends, right? And that I think is even more hurtful because I guess I just always hope that they got my back. They see me, they truly see and love me. But then
mhm.
sometimes I'm like, oh, so I find myself pulling back and I'm not going to share everything with them, or I'm going to kind of put up a little boundary with that because they don't need to
Yeah,
know everything I'm working on. But I will say, the people I don't get judgment for, and I get like all my cheerleaders and my champions are women like you that I have met all across the country that have become
same.
such good friends that are like family and they see
Yeah,
me and get me more, and a lot of them are entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, like we're doing a lot of the same stuff. And
Yeah.
some are for me are in construction too, but it's like they see me and get me and love me. And I can call them and be like, I'm having a really hard time. And they're like, oh, me too, but we got this. Let's figure it out. And or just the
Yeah.
support that I've now found from like a further circle of friends that have become my chosen family.
Mm.
That's who I've leaned into when it gets hard sometimes.
Yes. So true. Same
Mhm.
experience. And
Mhm.
absolutely, I think like one of the only ways to like unjuggle how we respond to it, because like the pain is there, and we get to heal from that. We get to
Mhm.
choose how we like, do we retreat, or do we get to work through it and heal in its own time and take it for
Mhm.
what it's worth and know that it's more about them, and like all the
Yeah.
things. But then also to the way that, for me, I knew that, well, first off, I knew the things that I wanted to do. I didn't know anybody else who was doing them.
Mm.
So there was that. I already
Yeah.
knew it was so vastly different from a world that, and I take full accountability, a world that I had created for myself. I had
Mhm.
spent all of that time in corporate America. So
Yep.
that was my world. That was the box, that was the container that I lived in.
Yep.
And it does look very different when you decide to put on the entrepreneurial hat,
Oh,
the
yeah.
small business owner hat, the I'm gonna I'm gonna go make an impact and show up on social media all the time. It's like, what? I barely even had a social media account like 2 years ago. Like it is. And so then that takes me back to the, I'm gonna say, unfortunately, the people who have experienced us one way so long,
Yeah,
they
and they like you
just
that way. They like you, you're in the
like you that
box.
way.
They know how to
Mhm.
deal with you that way.
Yeah, and maybe they like deeply care for you. They just don't quite know how to respond to
Mhm.
you, to like this different version, this
Yeah.
elevated version of you. And until they can navigate that too,
Mhm.
like I think what I'm hearing from you is you don't stop. You get
Oh,
the judgment, but you don't
absolutely
stop.
not. 'Cause
You
they
keep
may never come
going.
around. Truly, there's a
Never
lot of people
mind.
like that. A lot of those people haven't done the work on themselves. They don't know who they are. I truly, when I'm thinking of the people that have done this to me the most, absolutely, they have
Yeah.
not done the work. And I don't really foresee them doing the work and having this big awakening potentially. Maybe they will, but
Sure.
I don't know. So I'm not going to stop living my life to hope they will change and come along
Mhm.
and accept me. That's not on us. We keep
Yeah,
going.
that's enough.
They
Yeah, we
whether
keep going.
whatever they choose is on them. We keep going.
We keep going. We keep going.
Yep.
Yep. How do you think that the judgment, so obviously like you kind of get the initial blow,
Yeah.
and then it's the internal stuff that we're working through. I'm
Mhm.
curious, how do you think external judgment then plays into like your confidence, your
Mhm.
self-sabotage, your
Mhm.
self-doubt, which are all things that we deal with even before judgment is cast.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, how do you navigate that?
I think honestly the toughest part of experiencing like intense judgment, and then for me, a lot of the times I can kind of block it out and like just keep putting my head down and keep going. But then if it is coming to a point where I know I'm going to be around that person or those people, I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest. I've been working through this with my therapist, but like I kind of I make myself very anxious, and
Mhm.
I don't feel great, and I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I feel like just really out of sorts, and it ruins my mood. I'm truly working
Mm.
through that as we speak right now,
Yeah.
and it's hard. I will say I don't like that just thinking of the situation or that person can cause me to like mentally derail, and then I find myself stewing over it because again, they're
Yeah.
not doing the same thing, but so that's, I guess, things I'm still working on is okay, when I get to that point, how can I stop it and move on? I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
like wallowing for like weeks or full days, but if I know it's coming up where I have to see them, I start kind of getting into that mental space again. And I guess it pisses me off that I allow myself to waste time and energy and thought on it but
Yeah.
clearly I haven't healed completely from it, right? If it's still like making me all anxious.
Yeah. No, it's our bodies, like our bodies signaling to us that something's clearly off here. I
Yes.
know for me, very similar to like the body sensation is like the body
Mhm.
sensation of like I feel myself almost like shrivel a
Mm.
little bit. Like that's the
Yeah.
sensation
Yeah.
that happens. It's like a shriveling.
Mhm.
And that where I'm at in my own personal journey of healing through that
Mhm.
is just acknowledging the fact, oh snap, I am feeling like I want to shrivel,
Yeah.
or I am shriveling, and
Mhm.
that's not who I'm working my butt off to
To
be
be.
in my life, and
Yeah.
that's not what I want. So okay, like acknowledge it, give it the space for it to be, and
Yeah.
let's keep like working through this.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, like you had mentioned, at the end of the day, we can't stop, won't stop,
Mhm.
because we are literally we've cracked some code that for you, 5 years ago, for me,
Mhm.
2 years ago, like we've cracked some code of going, oh my gosh, there's this feeling when you tap into like things that
Mhm.
actually light your soul on fire.
Yep.
And it's like it, and I like the hunger just is contagious. Like, how do I do more of those things?
Right.
And I know you have mentioned this a few different times, but maybe even the place where you have unjuggled
Mhm.
is like how you get to and how you really have created this beautiful life that you love. So for anybody listening, like what are maybe some steps or what is something that comes to mind on how, like if somebody has kind of tasted that, hey, I recognize this small
Mhm.
thing lights my life on fire. How do I lean in and do more of that?
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
So I have to first start with kind of a picture scenario of, let's say you're 10 years down the road and you have a business that's quote unquote successful. It appears successful to the world, right? And you've to get there, I mean, let's say you're 10 years in, you've worked 80 hours a week, you have just put your nose down, you've been grinding, you've been hustling, it's been, that's all it's consumed you. So now your company's quote unquote successful, but you stop and turn around and your wife or husband hate you, your kids hate you, your family has fallen apart, your health is failing. You don't even know who you are because you're absolutely exhausted and overwhelmed and you've been glorifying the hustle. That is not my goal. That is absolutely never will be my goal, not my goal. My priorities are my family, my health, my physical and mental, and truly like it wasn't always like this when I started it, but I've really dialed it in is you have to take your life. What are your non-negotiables? What are the most important things to you in life that you will not give up? Okay. You will not settle for anything less. And then you build the business around it. You absolutely have to. And I will say my life is not perfect in any way, but I live a beautiful life. And I am not perfect. And that's not my goal. I'm not trying to be perfect. But my life is beautiful and it's kind of like I work weird hours sometimes. I've went to Italy and turned 40. I went there for 10 days and I ran my freaking company from Italy. Only
Love it.
me. Okay. And so I'd like drink Aperol spritzes and eat pizza all day. And then I'd go work till midnight in Italy time to like whatever. I mean, I take my kids skiing on a Tuesday and then I go put them in the pool and I work. I've worked in Mexico numerous times. Like I don't get a day off
Yeah.
ever. Maybe
Mhm.
like a handful of days around the holidays, but it doesn't like I don't have the Sunday scaries like they say, when you're like at home, you're like, oh God, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like my work is my life and my life is my work. And I have made it so that I love like owning my time. If I
Mhm.
know I have stuff I need to get done today, it happens. And then I might go have lunch with a friend or I go get my nails done or I go like walk the dog or I go do something that I enjoy because again, like I don't need to glorify working 60 hours a week, right? I don't even think I work 40
Mhm.
hours a week and I run the freaking company, but I work extremely hard when I work and then I go
Yes.
live my life, and then I work, and so I think you have to like have permission to, well, first stop glorifying the hustle. 80 hours a week is not, that's not cool, people. It's not, it never was. It's not cool it's not cool now. Give yourself permission to like work maybe different hours or whatever. Just like build things into your life every day that you love too.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's the point? We could all die tomorrow. And then, we're living or we're working so hard to like enjoy our life at retirement. I'm sorry.
No
I
thanks.
can't tell you how many times I've heard of people retiring, then they get cancer, then they die, then their partner, something happens to them.
Awful.
Truly, I am not waiting for retirement to enjoy my life.
Yeah. I remember moving into this neighborhood and we were meeting one of our neighbors. And one of the very first things, like, I knew we were going to be friends. I knew we were not going to be friends when this was part of the conversation. They like flashed this countdown on their phone, and it was their 8-year retirement calendar, or countdown. And it was just this counting
Weird.
down to
To when
retirement.
they're going to enjoy their life. That's sad. That's
And
really sad.
isn't that awful?
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
You're like,
And
great to meet you. Bye-bye. Gotta go.
bye-bye. But really, I mean, yeah, you nailed it.
Mm.
You nailed the most, so often, right? So many it's so acceptable in our culture to
Yeah.
just one day. We're a one-day culture. We're a someday culture.
Yeah.
And we're missing out on so much life. So I love
Yes.
these tips that you said. First off, just the overarching, like, I kind of got this diagram I wrote down. It's like, the overarching umbrella is that you take your non-negotiables and you build around it. And then kind of underneath your umbrella, you've got a couple different things that, like, stop glorifying the hustle, and really, find ways to own your time. And then to maximize your time too, right? Like what you can accomplish in 3 hours may take somebody else 30 days.
Yeah.
Like, and what somebody else can do has nothing to do with it. It's like, are you being effective with your time? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Did you use your minutes?
Yeah.
And I know every single day, like, that's a question that I know I have some long-term goals to where, like, I can confidently wake up in the morning or go to bed at night and be like, I used my minutes, and I know I'm not there yet. And I know it'll be the difference, because, it'll be the difference in running the business and the life that I want, when I can really truly make sure that I'm maximizing my minutes. And that doesn't mean putting it all towards work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So good. Okay. So tell folks, Chelsea, this is amazing. Before we kind of tell folks where they can get in touch with you or get your book or listen to your podcast, all of the things,
Sure.
Anything else just kind of in general, just on your heart that you want to share?
Let's see. I would just say, like, I know we've kind of talked about it, but a few things. Find your people, find your tribe who actually get and see you and love you and support you, and same you for them, right? Don't spend time with crappy people, like, who have bad energy. Just like, please just allow yourself to finally do that. Take care of yourself, your habits, like, people, if you're doing things that drain your energy, you can't function as a high performer. Yeah. So you have to look at, actually really be tough and look at your habits and saying, what's draining me and my energy and my time? What's feeding my energy and my time? And you need to make some tough decisions, because I can't tell you how many women I hear, or just families, like, they're exhausted. They pass in the night. They have way too much crap going on. And it honestly, at some point, y'all chose that. You chose that. You could truly make some changes and pull it back a little bit. And I'm talking, like, when you have kids and they're on all the sports and all these activities, but, like, ultimately you chose that. So if your life is miserable, you can unchoose some of those things as well, and enjoy it, right? Like, life is not a runaway train that we're on, that we're just trying to get through. Absolutely not. I hear so many people talk about this, and it drives me insane. I just can't do it. So yeah, like, own your life. If your life sucks, I get there's a bunch of external things that can happen, but ultimately you are the creator of your life. If your life sucks, you need to make tough decisions and figure it out. And you can live a beautiful life, but you got to choose it.
You got to choose it. You have to choose a beautiful life.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Yes.
love that. I love it. All right. So how can people get more of you? Where can they connect with you? What do you got going on
Me and my
in the next
craziness.
year? All the things.
Well, if you'd like to hear me ramble a lot, my podcast is called Lip Service and Lashes, and Britt was on it. She's an amazing guest. I have guests, and then I have solo episodes. So whatever's on my brain, you're gonna hear about it.
They're so good.
And then my book is called Real Vibes Only. That's on Amazon. But I'd say I'm more active on Instagram. It's just Chelsea Husum, just my name. I'm also on LinkedIn, but my vibe is Instagram. That's like my jam. I'm on Facebook too, but whatever. Facebook's like, nah, I like Instagram.
Okay, and you've got a women's retreat coming up, right?
Yes, I do. In April, in Colorado by Winter Park, I'm doing a women's retreat. I have like this beautiful house booked, private chef. I have my girlfriend's coming to do a breath work session. Ooh. I have another girlfriend who's taking photos and videos that the retreat attendees will get of themselves for like branding, just like all kinds of stuff they can use. She's also doing a workshop. So it's going to be like some solo time, because I need solo time to recharge, but like really amazing women. It's half full already. And I'm like, just so freaking like jazzed by the women that are coming. I'm like, oh my God, if I could hand pick, it wouldn't be any better. Like, this is so great. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. So I will make sure that all links get put into the show notes.
Thank
Chelsea,
you.
just amazing. And we are going to, so I end every With Friends episode the same way. So I've got three, like it's in three parts. So the first part, okay, is a question for you. I talk a lot about, and I think you do too, a lot about quitting the things that are no longer serving us.
Yes.
So when I say that phrase, quitting the things no longer serving you, what comes to mind?
Well, I'm going to say drinking comes to mind. While I am not successful completely at it, I have definitely over the last few years, like really drastically, I wasn't like a raging alcoholic, but I've drastically reduced the amount that I drink because I was getting tons of headaches. I was skipping the gym. I was eating a bunch of crap. I was getting cranky with my kids. And when I was looking at my habits, if I could pinpoint the one thing that derailed everything, it was that.
Habits. Yep. Habits again. It is. It really is. It's wild. I think a lot of people, especially over the last couple years, I don't know if it's just one of those things. It's more socialized now, or hey, everybody we all got our drink on like crazy in 2020, and now everybody's going, hey, maybe we swung a little too far, so let's maybe unswing. But yeah, I hear I know you're not the only one in the, hey, if we could just scale back a little bit. Even my husband and I are talking about, hey, maybe, in as the start of the year, maybe we attempt to see just like if we didn't. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it is amazing how it makes you feel when you do it versus don't do it. Like you wake up, you're like, bring it on. I feel freaking amazing. And then, or you have a really raging headache because you had 2 glasses of red wine because you love red wine, but it does not love you.
It does not love you.
Not anymore. Not anymore, at least. In my 40s.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And then I asked the last podcast guest to leave the upcoming podcast guest a question. So the last guest, Jessica Cruzon, she and her company, it's Design Crew, and they do social media marketing, or social media marketing management. And so Jess, she had a question for you. She said, what limiting belief do you need to let go of? And in turn, what dream would come true because of it?
Ooh. I will say, and I just want to say this because I feel I don't really like talk horribly to myself. I think a lot of women do. Yeah. Like we're really hard on ourselves. I do a little, but not like I don't quote beat myself up a lot. But I think limiting belief is one thing I feel like I sometimes self-sabotage of like I'm not very creative in certain ways, but I maybe am in other ways. But when I'm doing something and something like I'm not good at it and I spin my wheels and then I get frustrated with myself because I'm like, well, you came today to do this and, to this coffee shop, you were going to work on it. And then you left and you got overwhelmed by all the templates and the colors and you just didn't know what to do with yourself. Right. So I think like I the other day found myself getting frustrated with like, really, you just got overwhelmed, Chelsea. Okay. What was her second part of that question?
What limiting belief do you need to let go of? And in turn, what dream would come true because of it?
So what I like for that example, I literally came home and called someone and I was like, can you be my keynote speech therapist for a minute? And then I ended up hiring someone to create my slides. So I checked that off my list because I'm like, I have a deadline and I know I won't be practicing and I will be self-sabotaging and like not do as good of a job. So I just, sometimes you got to delegate. When I know about me, like when that happens, I got to put that to somebody who's an expert and then I'm going to move on. So I'm stepping into like when I know it's really going to cost me a year of just questioning and like spinning my wheels, I'm going to find someone and move on. And then I will move faster to what I'm good at.
You will. Yep. So that limiting, like that when that self-sabotage starts coming up, like that you started to recognize it quicker and that part of that game plan is letting it go and delegating.
Be like, that's not what I'm good at. Like, that's not my zone of genius. Like, let somebody else do that. I'm going to keep going. Right.
Exactly. So good. Love it. All right, my friend. Then the third part is your turn to leave the next guest a question. So whatever question comes to mind, what is your question?
Okay, let's see. What are you going to be doing in 2026 to leave your boldest impact and change more people's lives than you ever have? Quite a large question.
It is. It's so
no
good.
Pressure.
What are you doing in 2026 to leave your biggest impact? Your biggest, boldest, I even think. Boldest impact. And the last part, did I get it?
My brain. It was something like and change. I don't know. My brain.
Like how and how you're changing. Like, what are you going to do in 2026 to leave your biggest, boldest
and
impact?
Like, how are you going to impact more people or something like that?
Oh yeah. How are you going? Okay. So now you have to answer your own question because often I found that the question we ask is sometimes the one we needed most.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I am this year I am aligning everything to being a paid national keynote speaker. And I actually paid thousands what I am worth, right? And I am stepping boldly out to share my message and really inspire companies to lead with vulnerability and their humanness.
Oh, so good. I got all the chills. What an incredible space for you. And when you talk about being bold, when you talk about, oh my goodness, the size of impact like that. And so for you, it's specific to companies. You're going to organizations
that's my goal is like to be at like corporations and companies and organizations are hiring me to speak that. And so this whole year I put all these pieces in place to set myself up to look like a legit speaker. And I've done my homework and have all the assets, right? And so now it's like, okay, you have zero excuse not to just run with this and pitch yourself to anyone who will listen. So that's and that is my goal, and it's happening already, and it's going to happen on an even bigger scale. I know.
Here you go, 2026. I love it. I cannot wait. I think that's such a space that you're going to serve so well in.
Thank you.
So well.
I appreciate you.
Oh, okay. And I know I put you on the spot, so I'm willing to put myself on the spot too, and I'll answer your question.
Oh, do it. Yes.
Okay. So what are you going to do in 2026 to leave your biggest, boldest impact? How are you going to impact more people? I am going to consistency is where I'm at. Like I really do believe, and I know wholeheartedly, like I have the skills. I know the people, I have the resources. Like I am so fully capable
Yes.
of like impacting the masses and just spreading this massive ripple effect of joy and of like practical change in people's lives. And the only thing standing in anybody's way, in my own way, is that I think I spent my first year and a half, 2 years of entrepreneurship so busy almost convincing myself that I had to figure it out. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
figuring it out. I'm figuring
Yeah.
it out. I'm figuring it out.
Mhm.
And I wonder if to some degree, maybe that was even part of the limiting belief that I
Probably.
believed.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, there's no more like figuring it out.
I know what
Um,
I'm doing. I
I
just need to
know
do
what
it.
I'm doing. I know
Yes.
what I'm doing. I've created like massive transformations for
Mhm.
people, and I see the way that that then is like facilitating just massive change in their lives and the people that
Mhm.
they interact with.
Yes.
And there's no reason that I'm not showing up consistently in my
Mhm.
marketing, showing up consistently in my sales, showing up
Yep.
consistently in my speaking, showing up consistently on my pod. So for me, I think like as 2026 takes shape, maybe that's like my word or like how am I going
Mhm.
to do it? What am I going to do? I'm going to show up
Yep.
consistently in 2026.
Love that. I love it.
Yeah, great question. Oh, my friend, this was so good. I so appreciate you. Thank you for
Thank
just
you.
sharing everything today. I just yeah, you've been wonderful.
Oh, I appreciate you. We could go on forever. We'd be like, "It's 10 PM.
Perfect.
Gotta go
Yeah.
head to bed."
Gotta go, gotta go. All right, you. Until next time. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, you are divinely cared for, and in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.